fantastic morning so far. Wow, the power of people connecting together is something else. So, crystals are my passion, my life, I don't know, I could go on and on about them, but I thought crystals to give away because that was an idea that came from my crystal friends when I owned up to the fact that I know a little bit about crystals and I could come and share. I really just wanted to come, like the rest of you, and listen and be a participant at a conference because that would be very unusual for me. My work with crystals and my special spiritual buddies over there, the crystal skulls, take me to many countries around the world. So I have a great time, but I actually wanted to be there, you know, not up here. However, I guess the best thing is now I can do both. I'm going to pass this bag around. Now, you're all amazing beings, aren't you?
Yes.
You are all humans that are here with a purpose, and you are all interested in contributing to changes for the earth and humanity.
Yes.
Right. So, these small but absolutely beautiful pieces of quartz are parts of the Earth's body, and we all know, and you know, fantastic over the last few decades that people are realizing the Earth's living. So crystals are living, and crystals are never victims. They will choose where they want to be. They will choose, you know, the same as we chose our soul's purposes and all the little details of our human body. Crystal consciousness. So in the earth, you're always going to get with a crystal earth codes. You're going to get the pulse of the heartbeat of the earth, the motivation for this planet to be in the solar system. It goes on and on and on. If you will allow yourself to listen with all your senses to these microcosms of life. Okay, so this is just a simple quartz crystal. Trust yourself to put your hand in the bag and pick out one that will match you. And then experience it as a living being with a nature spirit, an earth spirit. Sometimes they're called divas.
Oh, yeah.
Start playing with them, you know. And apart from this, the other fantastic thing. Okay, I might pass them around. I feel this one's for you. Yeah. As you connect with crystals, they'll change. They'll change in your hands, you know, and they respond to you the same as if you're going to come over at any time during the day and pick up any of these guys and girls. Watch out for them changing in your hands, because there's a magic, a synergy that happens when you have an energy field connected with another energy field. I mean, that's why they work for crystal healing. You know, and you can do fantastic, you know, on-body layouts or, you know, whatever. But I teach all of that in courses, and I also have online courses. Today I just wanted to introduce some more specialist crystals for our journey right now on Earth. You know, because of who we are for this group of people and what we are aiming to do. Those crystals will connect us all. It's quite simple. It doesn't matter where we all go to after this talk. It's natural, it's going to happen. The other crystal I chose to take to give away is shungite. And shungite has some very remarkable properties. I mean, crystals are really old because the earth is really old, but some of them are formed at different stages on the earth. Shungite, they are aiming at trying to age this from the Karelia region in Russia at 2 billion years old, and it has fullerenes in it which have water purifying properties. These little bits I'm giving you, though, they're raw, they're not polished. If you're going to use shungite for enhancing water and purifying water, it's also used for psychic protection. Because of its purifying properties, the essence of the beings that live in these crystals are from the oceans. They're from the ancient oceans on Earth. And, you know, it's really lovely to connect in with them. So you can do that by holding them, by meditating, by sleeping with them. These little pieces, they're also very useful for electromagnetic frequencies, radiation that disturbs us. Put it near your phone or wherever you want to. So I'll pass these round this way. That's yours. Yeah. Of course you get to keep them. Because, you know, life is a gift, and sometimes we just need to be messengers of that. You know, that's all we can be, is just, you know, pass on wherever we can. I'll just warn you, this shungite, because it's raw, it might make your fingers grey. But then that will mean you've actually had absorption, and it might actually help us with the increasing resistance to our presence in the group. Okay. Other crystals that want to be introduced to you, and I really do just think of myself as a voice and hands and legs for the Crystal Kingdom. It's interesting that I had to do a little bit of like keep fit training before I actually entered into the crystal phase of my life, because ever since all I do is carry around rucksacks and heavy suitcases full of crystals. And you know, yes, you can ask them to make themselves lighter, especially if you're standing in an airport and they're weighing your baggage. But you know, they have a weight, and I never get off with just carrying a couple. You know, who lives with crystals? Who's got crystals that they live with? Right, fantastic. So, can I share with you something that crystals have taught me? So my teachers about crystals have been the Crystal Kingdom itself. When I got interested in crystals, there weren't books in the bookstores. And I gradually found that I was picking them up. I could hear or respond. I can speak the stories out. And I asked them then, you know, a very sensible question. I'd heard about these Atlantean techniques for cleansing your crystals. So if you're a guardian of crystals, you know, you've got to do things, you've got to do certain things. I'm not even going to mention them. So there's techniques of like cleansing your crystals. And I thought, well, life's about fun and play and enjoyment. And if I'm ending up being a crystal guardian of like hundreds of tons of crystals because I'm doing earthworking projects with them, how do I do this? How is this easy? So, the easy thing is, I recognize you as a divine being. You know, you are the earth. The earth is a divine being. In that very simple statement of recognition, that crystal can throw away and dissolve all the programs that have been put into it at different times, different programmable earth codes, you know, for harnessing earth energy power, whether it's been from human or otherwise. And a divine being, for me, is one I can learn from. So, I also know divine beings are energy masters. So all I have to do is allow my crystals to have that divine recognition, and they will self-maintain. Self-maintain. So I can confidently hand crystals out, I can hand my skulls out to large groups of people, and every time a person has a crystal in their hands, it's clear. You know, none of this, you know, negative energy that gets passed on. It'll be there for you. It's that recognition. So you can do it with telepathy, because crystals work with vibrations. They don't need English language, or they don't need a specific language. As you can imagine, people all over the world communicate with crystals. It's telepathy. It's your intention. So from where you are now, talk to all your crystals at home. I recognize you as divine beings, hey, and you're going to have a whole power house of a sacred site in your home, opening up channels between the earth and into multidimensional realities, if you wish. But it's a way we can very simply contribute, because then we are creating sacred spaces which will help us. It helps make things easier on sometimes this very, very challenging human journey. So, celestial crystals. Now, I know that I have got to stop talking at some time, and we've only got 5 more minutes and we've not got onto the skulls yet. So, information about the particular specialist crystals I've written, you know, it's come from the crystals, and it's on the table. So I'm not going to go into them all. Celestials help you find truth in yourself. They are truth journeyers. Doesn't matter what your truth is, they're long-term companions. Celestials here. For those of you that are from Sirius or interested in working with some of the 14 root races from Sirius, who are, you know, some of the founders of like Earth Energy and founders of Lemuria. There are some Syrian crystals. You won't find some of these crystals in crystal shops, because these ones have identified themselves to me, and you know, I spread them out through my students. Very helpful for helping you connect with your wisdom. Lithium candle quartz for stability, and we all need stability with our energy. You know? And also with the different levels of the mind when we start expanding. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to crystal skulls. And this is the really, really short story. This is Sami, or Mahasamatman. I was given him in meditation in 1995 by a being from Orion called Kathleen. And at that stage I was fairly clairaudient, clairsentient, whatever, but my work with crystals has totally amplified these senses, and it can do it for you as well. I believe that having all our senses is a natural state of being human, and it's something that we can work with and achieve. So I'm going to pass the skulls around. If you want to just sit and hold them and say hello, and they'll just, you know, respond. Catherine? Absolutely. Sammy's given me lots of stories about star nations, and I've been attuned to different stellar vibrations. I had to go through a car crash and a walking experience because my human self had a lot of resistance, but that was back in 1996, 1997. And he's very much an initiator and a catalyst. Okay. So he's really known as an ET skull, and he's got the consciousness in him of one of the 13 crystal skulls from Atlantis. You know, the ones that there are all these myths and stories. Some of them are not so true, or whatever. So he's actually not seeded on this planet, but then set into a matrix in the earth with the whole story. There's a book there because I had to start writing this stuff down when this guy came into my life. The adventures were absolutely fabulous, and but a bit crazy, because sometimes that's how you find truth. You have to let go of a lot of reference points and surrender to transformation. This one, Kayleigh, is a contemporary carved skull. So that's an ET skull that's not carved, formed out of light. This is a contemporary carved skull with ancient wisdom of the earth because it's an earth crystal. Very good for helping heal the traumas that we experience in being human. Okay? Give you Kaylee. Pass around. I've got another 5 minutes. Yeah. So I travel with this team of 4, but I've actually given up counting how many skulls I live with and how many crystals I live with because they magnetize in their chums. And I never, you know how you might hear, like, if you want to find out a crystal, you use your intuition, or you go into a crystal shop and you go, well, what crystal's for me? I don't do that, because they'll all say, hey, if I come with you, I'm going to be recognized for who I am, and that's more preferable to being a form where consciousness doesn't live. So you will find crystals that are just forms, just bodies, but if you recognize they're divine, a consciousness comes in. And you'll get earth consciousness, and you can get all kinds of things. So each of the skulls, when they came into my life, were very much part of my journey of healing traumas with Kaylee. That's why I know that's what he's best at. Jade is an ancient skull found in Mongolia. She's got sigils carved on the top of her head. For me, it's spiritual. Writing's not really the right word. When I work with sound, I see lots and lots of these little sigils coming out. And sigils are a bit different from symbols. They're the language of the unconscious. But it's not just humanity's unconscious. It's an unconscious that, is perhaps related to the earth. She's been worked with by shamans, and she's travelled around the world, and somehow she's with me travelling now. It's a great honour to have her. She's hollow, and we often do water ceremonies with her. She changes colour when we work with sound. And she's very good for healing then things that are in our unconscious that we can't reach. Can I pass this back? Jade wants to go. Could you have a few moments and then pass her back to that gentleman over there? And then, during today, if you really want to have even a few moments, you're really welcome. Come up, take them away and sit with them. I mean, if I'm here and we're all family, then I have trust in all of you. So these are very precious beings to me, but I trust you'll take care of them. So I also feel that you are very precious beings, and I'd like to offer you that time. Last one of my travelling team is another ancient piece. They're made of jade, so I call her Jade. She has another name, it's convenient in jade. These are the twins, you can see why. So they really help us with healing conflicts and dualities in self, at this level and on other levels. Shamanic masks carved here. These, when they came into my life in 2004, so Jade came in 2001, and I really needed healing from my unconscious because I'd had a baby that didn't sleep, and after about a year of that, I was a bit of a wreck. So the first night I had with Jade, I slept 13 hours. I was very spaced out. I had to cancel work the next day, but there's amazing healing that you can receive from these beings. I think you just need to trust and open your hearts. Who'd like the twins? Okay, and then just pass back and pass around. about when you follow your guidance, you know, when you live your life as truthfully as you can do, then you're always supported. So I wanted to show you, I've got cards so you can take my website address, but I've actually brought photographs of projects that I've been working with the nature kingdoms, the earth, for about 22, 23 years, and turning my garden, or the house that I was guided to buy, which really was an unattended garden, into a sacred garden, because everything is recognised as divine, and placing crystals in key points, so that my little contribution in having a beautiful place is a contribution that goes out around the earth. And each one of you can do that, because it's just with intention. So even a flower pot, a window box if you're in the city, or whatever, or realising that we are all connected together. So if you create sacredness by recognising everything as sacredness, and you plant trees and flowers and bring in crystals, then you're going to be connecting up. It's like connecting up lots and lots of little pockets around the earth of sacredness, which I believe is our way of, well, it's all about connecting, but if we're going to change this world, then let's show those that don't work with the divine the way to do it. Everywhere the skulls go, they set up energy fields which will attract in the opposition. I've got familiar with that now, it's part of my work. The way this is the way I prefer to look at it, in that we together, so with my crystals, and we together as humans, can set up energy fields of love and truth and all the qualities we believe in. Now that in itself is a transformative energy field. So you can tell me if you agree with this or not, Simon. It will magnetize in other beings who don't know what divine energy is. And some of them I have witnessed, some of them come in and transform. Others don't, they choose not to. But at least we're giving them a way out. Because I feel all our evolution is together. So even those that are creating the most chaos at any level on Earth, the way out is not separation or duality, the way out is together. It might take a bit longer, or take whatever length of time it takes. So please feel free to look at the photographs, and well, I just hope it's given you a little bit of inspiration. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Kathleen. We'll be breaking for lunch soon. Can we have all the crystal skulls back before we break for lunch? Thank you. I didn't actually disagree with anything you said there. I think that's absolutely fine. What I just make clear is that anybody who speaks here because they are part of the family and they're trusted totally. And I have absolutely no issue with anybody buying services from anybody who speaks here. So that's good. So you can advertise, you can sell things because you've come through the proper process. Okay, you're part of the family. You're not some interloper that's come in to try to hijack it. So that was, everyone who's spoken has spoken really well. In particular like the Cristal, simply because of the situation between Lemuria and Atlantis. And a lot of alien, small alien spacecraft actually use crystal arrays at the very front to do the sensing. And here on Earth, in terms of the mainstream, we've been using quartz crystals to regulate watches and clocks. So the elite understand much more than they let on in terms of what crystals can do. Some of the Nordic races keep crystals in their right-hand pocket when they wish to try to teleport or move from one place to another. Crystals on their own are not everything. You have to have an increased mind, but also an increased spirituality. And when you can connect that increased spirituality with the vibration or the frequency of that crystal, then you can achieve amazing things. And Kathleen's right. We all know, don't we, that the crystal chooses the person. And you could go into a crystal shop and you know when they're unhappy. So, very delighted for all the speakers. Now, we are going to go and have our lunch in a moment. Again, please, if you've got something valuable, bring it with you, take it with you. I'm not sure how we're securing the room regarding the electronic stuff. Are we just... dear me. All right, okay, listen. Yeah. So we've had our first morning. You are aware, of course, this is a completely different setup than any other conference you've done. Yes, we've had speakers, but we're not here on a conveyor belt. This is not rushed one after another. This is much more about us connecting and being together. So there will be time later. I'm happy later on this afternoon to take lots of questions from you. I'm going to try and get round and meet as many of you as I can. This evening we're going to go for an evening meal. There is no venue in Whitby big enough or capable enough of taking large numbers. We're just going to turn up and dominate it. It may mean that we don't actually get any food. But we're going to do it. So we're going to go down as a group, we're just going to sit at the tables, and you will see the poor members of staff become terribly stressed. But there's nothing we can do. It's not Newcastle, it's not London, we don't have the facilities here. But nevertheless, it'll be a chance for us to socialise, and we'll try and get round and talk to you as many as possible. For those of you who are hanging around tomorrow, I will be available tomorrow. I've got some people booked in for some sessions, but I will find the time. I don't want anybody to leave here who felt that they haven't had a chance to speak to me. Okay, that's very important. I did the Watford conference, and the problem there was that most of those people I didn't know, and it was like they wanted a 5-minute, 10-minute with me because they thought they'd never get the chance to talk again. So literally for 4 hours, I was just surrounded. And it wasn't the conference that drained me, it was the time afterwards. And this is different here because we all know each other and we're much more relaxed. And you know that means that the energy here is very, very good. There's a very strong energy. So, has anybody yet lost their mobile phone?
No.
Okay, alright, that's something. Alright, those of you who are staying here, how have you found it? How many of you are staying actually here?
Yeah.
My goodness! Oh. I mean, you know, locally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I thought some of you might be travelling further in. Okay, well that's really, really lovely. If you are staying longer, try and get around and look at the town. It's some interesting energies in Whitby. Some of it is very, very beautiful, and some of the energy is quite dark, simply because it has been targeted and used by others. But you can, you know, experience that and go around and have a look at that. So, can we have the crystal skulls back now, please? And then we're going to go and have lunch.
I'm happy that they're not back.
Well, they're yours to be a guardian of. So the guardian of the crystal skull says that she's happy. Okay, all right, that's fine. So listen, have your lunch, and we're back in an hour. Thank you.